it is another week wrapped up, and honestly, price action this week has been really poor. There are potential positions that we could have taken this week. However, a lot of them were very slim, and there's a lot of unclear price action. So we have developed a bias where price action should continue to push up. However, what price action fails to do is give us the validity to actually enter the markets. So we kicked off with Monday being an absolute nothing. There was absolutely nothing on the charts for us to have taken. But on Tuesday, we had a potential opportunity that we did take, which was a little bit lower probability. However, it was still an A++ setup. We understood that the advantage zone must definitely get tapped because we're utilizing momentum on the lower time frame. But we weren't quite ready to kind of see a full-blown retracement. So we had a very aggressive risk based off of some higher time frame lows, which I believe at the time was the 1 hour low, and price action just kind of failed. We knew that this is the first rejection area, therefore it being the advantage area at 46.83. Therefore, we came out at break even, so we secured just 1 pip out of that trade. Now, the actual opportunity that we were really looking forward to was going to be this right here, but I wanted a second liquidity sweep, which was price action filled. You've come back down, you're expected some form of support, and I'd want a next candle here to retest, break the previous 5 open lows for then price action to start re-breaking highs, which is then where I set my buy stop. So unfortunately for me, we didn't quite get that validation. Price action had 499 pips peak and then continued to retrace. So had we trailed stops to break the lows, there's potential we could have been trailed out. Otherwise, price action would have continued to push up. So Tuesday did have the perfect opportunity that we unfortunately missed because the validation that I really wanted, which was a retest of the previous 5 open lows, unfortunately wasn't there. So my entry would be at this area, but I'd need the low to get broken again. And even so here, you take the rebreak of the highs, it would make sense. Unfortunately for me, this bottom wick didn't quite reach exactly where I would have wanted it to. So there was the missed opportunity on Tuesdays. Wednesday again, very, very dry, very rare for opportunities. And then here, Thursdays where frustration kind of got to us in the first half of the session before we pulled back. We saw in London and coming up to the New York trading sessions, you had everything that you possibly wanted. Price action gave you retracements, but you didn't get rebreaking of lows. You didn't get anything that we really realistically wanted. So we did get a little bit fed up. However, this is what makes you as a proper trader, is to not give up and to look for opportunities or step away from the charts. So what we did was step away from the charts, afterwards came back and finally saw something that did look quite promising. So I have written here that we closed out automatically due to an error that I inputted in my take profit order. Is again still something that I'm trying to get used to on DX trade. Price would have just stopped me out at break even otherwise. So we had the 4 hour candle open. 4 hour candle did pop you up, so that was a little bit unfortunate, but you had to come back down to retest the lows, and eventually you did retest the lows. When you did retest the lows, you're looking for a rebreak at a high on the current candle. Price action would have then taken you up. So there was your open, price action came down. As you started re-breaking highs, we looked for a buy stop. Buy stop came up, and then where my risk-free area was, we took risk off of the table, and then as I was managing my trade position on my terminal, I was setting my take profit area up here. I think what I believe would have happened was when I was setting the order, I actually adjusted the stop loss rather than the take profit value, which then obviously means your stop loss is invalidated because it's above price. It will close you out the position automatically. Anyways, it's fine. We're risk off the table. We closed out with profit, which was plus 15. Thursday has been the best trading day this week. I know where price wants to go and the ability to stay out when we are not validated despite price moving in our direction. A year ago from today, we would not have had this level of patience or discipline on the charts, and we've come a long way, which is very true. First year and second year, I would most likely have taken a trade because you'd have the fear of missing out. You'd have the fear that price action is just going to continue to push up. You may as well catch it. You may as well just take the rebreak at the highs. But there's no logical reason for me to have entered a trade like that because I have a system that I actually have confidence in. Therefore, I know that comparing myself from year one to now, which is my start of the third year, I know I'm in a much better position just to wait, and it's okay for me to miss a trade position because I know that I can trust my system, and I am very certain that give it another day or give it some time, my validation is going to show up, my system is going to show up, and the entry opportunity will be presented. Therefore, for me, I have a very strong now opinion that I can stay out for an entire week, no questions asked, until my validation comes up. And that leads me on to Friday. No price action that would have validated me in, and it just was straight rubbish for me. I couldn't take it. I really would have wanted to play the range. Unfortunately for me, we never got the proper validations at all. So that about wraps up my week, and that leads me on to what I'm focusing on for next week, which is the same thing. We're 42% in on my account, as you can see. 42%, we're sitting 2,524.88. The goal is to get that 6%, and we don't want to baby this. We don't want to baby this. If I see an A++ setup, I need to risk the 1%. Now, in futures, the industry has taken a little bit of a shift this week. We've been introduced with some new rules, which also means that you're actually capped at 1% risk per trade. I cannot go beyond 1% risk per trade. So if I go below, I think it's 1,000. If I go above $1,000 in drawdown, I think I'd have a proper breach on my account now, which is a new rule, which is a little bit stupid, but you have to just go with the flow with prop firms. You're trading somebody else's capital. Even though it's a demo, you still have to take it seriously because you want to get that 2,000 minimum payout, maximum payout for the first payout on this account. So we'll have a little look on the charts next week, where again, like I said, we need a little bit more. We're up 2.5%. I need another 3.5%, and we're almost there. So that about wraps it up. I think on the open, we'll probably see a big liquidity sweep on the day. If the day can come down, break its lows, you'll be looking at rebreak at the highs, play the same range. But obviously, I'll be doing another analysis breakdown on Monday morning. But that about does it. There's my progression. 100k challenge is still going strong. And to be honest with you, not like it is anything realistically important, but this account has just had straight wins. We've had wins and a break even. That's it. Which is pretty impressive actually, because I've never had a streak like this before. I've never had or experienced so many wins in a row. But it just goes to show me that when I have confidence in the trade position and I really, really only stick to my A++ setups, that is the kind of win rate you can get. That is the kind of return you can get. And again, the next goal is to really sit through the 1% risk. I'm risking a minimum 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. I'm risking 1% for 2%. I want to see that full 2%. I don't think we've really had too many opportunities where we can actually say, yeah, full TP was smacked. Actually, matter of fact, we have the data. There is no way in this account yet that we've had a full take profit scenario. And again, that is something that we're trying to work on when we're vetting for these positions and getting a 1 to 2, is actually fully watching price go to full take profit without having to get stopped out at trailing, get stopped out at break even, or get stopped out on the trade. So everything's still a work in progress. I'm excited for the new week, and I need to get this done because I'm stressing myself out here. I'm not really stressing myself out, but I'm putting myself on a time pressure. You can't baby the account. You can't sit on one challenge account for too long. You have to either blow the account, but strategically, or actually push to get the trade position. Price action has been a little bit ass, but when we see that position, look, I had a missed opportunity this week on Tuesday. That would have put me up so much, even if I had a trailing stop loss. This would have put me up a lot more than what we currently are up today. So just put in the work, try and not miss as many opportunities as this, especially the big ones. If you see the opportunity, take the opportunity. We only had a break even that day, so it would have actually validated me to take one more position. If I have one loss, then I'm calling it for a day, but if I have a break even, it doesn't count, right? And that about does it. We'll see what happens next week. But really, it's just keeping the eye on the prize, which is you get that payout, you secure A++ setups, you risk 1%, and you just lock in. This week has been really good in focus, and I've displayed a lot more discipline than my previous version of myself in this industry. So I'm very happy with how I've progressed and how I've disciplined myself, and it just goes with the flow, and we'll come back again next week, and hopefully we'll get even better results.